Hi everyone. Today we are rolling through an area of eastern Cobb County that I actually know a little extra well. This is actually where I lived when I went to high school, so I was living in this area for about 4 years. The reason we are here today is because of a new movement to create a city of East Cobb in this area. Now, the city of East Cobb that they're proposing would be 25 square miles, which would instantly make it one of the largest cities in the county. Contains about 50 to 55,000 residents as well. If you're familiar with the area, the municipality is going to be bordered by Shallowford Road on the north, the Chattahoochee River on the south, the Cobb County boundary on the east, and kind of Old Canton Road, a couple other roads on the west. With the whole municipality really centered on just that intersection of Johnson Ferry Road and Roswell Road. So this most recent push for East Cobb cityhood was initiated in March of last year, so that was March of 2021. It just this month, so just in February of 2022, made it through the Georgia Senate and is being passed on to voters in May of 2022. During the Senate vote, the major objection to East Cobb cityhood was really just that they felt that the process was being rushed. On the other hand, supporters of East Cobb cityhood did say that, they felt their job wasn't to decide whether or not something should become a city. Their job was just to pass the burden on to voters. So it's up to you. Now, the major push for cityhood comes from a dislike of recent zoning ordinances. So currently the zoning for this area of Cobb County is overseen by Cobb County itself. The idea with cityhood is that East Cobb can control East Cobb's own zoning. Proponents of cityhood say that they don't want to see East Cobb become urbanized. They want East Cobb to remain suburban like it is. On the Cobb County future use map for this area, which, if you're not aware, future use map is essentially a map put forth by the zoning board and city planning to say how they want these areas to be developed in the next, say, 10, 15, 20 years. On this future use map, citizens of East Cobb are noticing some brown, high density, and orange, medium high density areas suggested primarily along the road I'm driving on right now, this being Johnson Ferry Road. Now, the biggest high density area is actually at this Kroger right here, at the Park Hare Shopping Center. Now, redevelopment of East Cobb seems imminent. It's going to happen. And this Park Hare Kroger, as well as a shopping center called the Avenues, seem to be some of the most predominant places where redevelopment might happen quickest. The owners and developers have already expressed some interest in redeveloping these sites. Supporters of the city of East Cobb, of creating the city, say that they want to be in control of this redevelopment. Redevelopment's going to happen. We can't stop redevelopment from happening, but at least let the citizens be in control. Let the citizens of East Cobb decide with their own elected officials. Now, in order to be considered a city, East Cobb is required to provide a minimum of 3 services. So they are proposing to separate the police service, the fire department, and the Parks and Rec department, and have those specific for East Cobb. So no longer Cobb County Police or Cobb County Fire, but East Cobb Police and East Cobb Fire. With the fire, they really just say that it's going to be, upholding the same standard that they've had. With police, some residents feel that with the urbanization of other areas of Cobb County, that police aren't as focused on the East Cobb area. And so they do think that having a specific City of East Cobb Police Department might help get that police force focused more in on this area. With Parks and Rec, of course, the idea is just have an excellent Parks and Rec department without having to travel a long way. Now, the biggest question with the push for cityhood is, how is this going to affect my taxes? The committee supporting East Cobb cityhood is alleging that this is possible without any increase in taxes. They're basing this off of a feasibility study that was done by Georgia State University. and are essentially saying that taxes are just going to be reallocated. So the amount that you used to pay to the county is going to be the same amount, but now split between the county and the city. Now, this all sounds great, but of course there's two sides to any story. Opponents to the East Cobb City movement really focus in on two major issues. The larger part of their argument, and this one has multiple facets to it, is that the feasibility study is not really accurate, and creating a city of East Cobb is going to require an increase in either taxes, living expenses, something. You're gonna pay more money. One of the big things that they cite in their argument is the fire station. So in the feasibility study, there's a proposed payment of $5,000 to transfer the existing Cobb County fire station to East Cobb Municipality. Now, what opponents are realizing is that $5,000 for a fire station might not include all of the equipment and fire trucks and suits and everything inside that fire station. So there might be extra costs involved. They also note there might need to be construction of a new government building or reallocation of a new government building, because the current East Cobb government building serves way more than just the 55,000 approximately people that will be living in the city of East Cobb. And so they're saying, like, hey, we might need to come up with something else. That's going to be additional funds. Now, one of the other issues they mentioned in the feasibility study is this about $3 million payment called franchise fees. Now, you can read a little bit more about exactly what these franchise fees are in the Alliance of East Cobb website that I'll mention at the end of this video. But what they're noting with these franchise fees is these are fees that are had to be paid to the government by utility providers. So if your utility providers are suddenly having to pay a total of $3 million a year to the government, that likely means that we're going to see a surcharge on our power bill, maybe our cable bill, our internet bill. So there might be more costs to the consumer that the feasibility study didn't account for. And obviously this feasibility study that was being ordered by people who are pushing to create a city of East Cobb, could potentially be a little bit biased. So why doesn't Cobb County just create their own feasibility study? And this is a great question, right? Have an unbiased feasibility study. Let's see what the impact of East Cobb cityhood is going to be. Well, our problem here is since the vote is happening in May of this year, so in just a couple months' time, there isn't enough time for Cobb County to have a full feasibility study completed. So citizens are going to be voting on this without that feasibility study done. Obviously, there's pros and cons. Biggest pro being that, East Cobb citizens want to have control over what East Cobb is going to look like. They want to have control over what their home is going to look like. And they don't want to be living in an extension of Atlanta. They want to be living in suburbia. Now, our biggest drawback is it going to increase our taxes? People don't want to pay extra in property taxes or city taxes or whatever. So the question is, if you're a citizen of East Cobb, on voting day, is control of the environment that you live in and control of the city that you live in, to the extent that is being proposed by this new city bill, worth potentially paying a little bit more in taxes? That's something to ask yourself. If you'd like more information, I do recommend heading to two websites. There is a pro City of East Cobb website called eastcobbga.com. There is also a website for the opposition to the City of East Cobb, and this is eastcobballiance.com. You can head to both these sites, find out more about what I talked about today, because I really just grazed the surface. You can find details about the bill. You can find that map that I showed at the beginning, showing the boundaries of East Cobb. You can also reach out and ask questions on those websites. If you're a citizen of East Cobb, I hope this helped weigh some of the pros and cons at least a little bit and get you a little bit of information on what you might be voting on in May. And if you are a citizen of East Cobb, I would encourage you to go out and vote in May as well. This is something that directly affects you and can directly affect your community. So it's definitely something that you want to be a part in the decision making of. And if you're not a citizen of East Cobb, I hope that you at least found this video informative. I hope that y'all have a fantastic day. This is your Atlanta and OTP North Realtor signing off. See you next time.